Okay, so, all right, I see a few people joining in. Good stuff. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on which part of the planet you're on. All right, I'm going to stop my music. We'll just get started. 1 second. All right. Okay, so I think we have a quorum, so we can get started. As usual, we do have a few stragglers. That's okay. That's an indication on how they're going to do in their business. I'm just kidding. There might be a valid reason as to why people are late. I shouldn't assume. Anyways, you know what? I do have a hard stop, so we're going to get started. Okay. All right, so let's move forward. So you finished section 3, which is the wealth building section. I'm sure your eyes opened up to a lot of things that you weren't aware of in the past, like your awesome life number. That must have given you a bit of a jolt. It's supposed to give you a jolt because that's reality. We are not here to tell you what you want to hear. We're here to tell you what you need to hear. And it's important that you understand that. Okay, so as you're about to graduate from the boot camp, congratulations. You're going to be receiving your shiny new hats, your lapels, your stripes as you graduate from this boot camp. Actually, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to give you any of that stuff. Okay, you're just going to be given instructions on what you need to do to move forward with your journey. All right, you've gone through this boot camp, you acquired some skill sets, you acquired some discipline, rigor, you understand the importance of the mindset, you understand the importance of staying focused, having a daily method of operation, and doing the little things that move the needle forward in your business on a regular basis. You've understood some financial literacy concepts. Those are important because you need to capitalize your business. Otherwise, you start your journey in an undercapitalized business, you're going to quit very quickly. We don't want that. All right. So I'm going to ask these questions. Who are you at the, when we get into the Zoom room, and how are you going to accomplish your mission? So as usual, we'll talk about Entra's mission, vision, and core values. And you might be wondering why I repeat this every session. It's because just like you are on a mission, you need to understand what your mission is. You need to understand what your vision is and come up with values that support your mission and vision. Okay, so what I'm sharing with you is Entra's mission, vision, and core values. You can take them and adapt them and make them your own or come up with your own version. But at the end of the day, any kind of business that you do as an entrepreneur, you need to stay true to your values because that's what you stand for. That's what your business stands for. That's how you enroll people into the mission that you are wanting to achieve for yourself and your journey. Okay. So Entra's mission is to empower you to achieve physical, personal, and professional excellence through entrepreneurial education. Our vision is a world where an awesome life is achievable for anyone who's committed to excellence. And our core values are: we live by choice, not by chance. We strive for excellence in everything we do. We are obsessed with improvement. We practice thoughtful communication. We eagerly do hard things well. We take daily disciplined action. We move fast, learn fast, and grow fast. We attack problems and find solutions. We build with legacy in mind, and we have fun and get stuff done. So I show this graphic at every session because as you graduate from this boot camp, it is Entra's intention to equip you with the mindset, the knowledge, the clarity, the discipline, the attitude required to become implementers. So how do you become the person you wish to be? As I said, you started off with who you were. You understand who you are and who are you becoming. As you go forward in this journey, you cannot drive your vehicle looking at the rearview mirror. That's a thing of the past. Yeah, keep glancing it just to make sure there's nothing dangerous coming up, from behind. But at the same time, you want to be driving your business forward, looking ahead, not behind. What's in the past is the past. You've understood from your mistakes what you did and what you did not do, and how that impacted your trajectory. Now you have a better idea as to what you need to do. So hopefully, not hopefully, I expect each and every one of you as you graduate this boot camp to have a clear plan of action to move forward. Okay. So it's very easy to say, how do I become? Okay. How do you become the person you wish to be? Make no mistake, who you're becoming as part of this journey is far, far more important than what you're doing. What you're doing on a daily basis determines who you are becoming. It forms your identity As I mentioned, the 2.0 versions of yourselves, which is largely shaped by the books you read, the people you spend time with, the food you eat, the habits you adopt, the conversations you engage in today and every day. So you got to start acting the part. Act as if you're already the person that you intend to be. Talk the talk, walk the walk, dress, prepare, plan, organize, study as though you're already the master of your domain and destiny. Start living that identity. All right? So ask yourself each time, who are you being right now? Who are you being every day? Have that conscious awareness that you have to, you ask yourself. See if you are changing stuff from the past. Are you making a difference? A lot of you have said you've, started getting into a rhythm and routine with your physical excellence, and you've seen the difference. You've seen the difference in your conversations. You're listening more perhaps to your spouse as opposed to, listening to respond. You got to listen to understand and then respond. These are little things that, once you understand, it makes a profound impact on your trajectory in life. It's not just about money, it's about an awesome life, remember. So in the corporate world, you might have seen this. People say, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. In the case of a digital business, a freedom business, I don't care how you dress. Jeff doesn't care how you dress. You can dress in tank tops and shorts if you want. You could be doing your business from a park, from a cafe, from wherever. Just assume the identity of a future version of yourself. Ask yourself, what would the future version of me, what advice would it give me right now? And go with that. Mindset is, more than just a way of thinking, it's a way of being. Be persistent and consistent about your goals and your dreams. So you got to ask yourself, are you aligned to your goal? You establish some goals for yourself, in one of the exercises that I asked you to do, which is, establishing what your results are going to be. Obviously, with the awesome life number, that is expanded in a much bigger way, and that's good. You were aiming low earlier. Now you realize if you want to be wealthy, you got to start thinking big. We talked about this, positive intentions, positive influences. You have to start with empowering thoughts as opposed to disempowering thoughts. The past is the past. Start looking forward. Now, it's not just enough to have intentions and influences, thoughts, feelings, actions, and results. You got to understand that when it comes to your actions, there's got to be a daily method of operation. You can't just take one action and expect things to happen. Yes, that'll happen when you buy a lottery ticket. You win or you don't win. That's not a part of your DMO. But when you're running a business, you got to have a daily method of operation. Plus your skill sets. You start with a skill set of 1, and you constantly keep working on your skill sets to go to 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4. And it happens over a period of time. As and when you do certain things, you get more and more comfortable with it. There used to be a time in the corporate world, even though I was a contract freelance management consultant, my boss used to ask me, hey, you're a very good person who can interview people. You have a knack for identifying people with skills, their personalities, and so on and so forth. Why don't you start interviewing some of the people that I'm looking to hire? And I did that. And I used to come across resumes where people said they have 25 years experience, 30 years experience. But after I interviewed them, I found out they really don't have 25 years experience. What they have is 25 years of 1 year of experience. They've been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they call themselves, hey, I put in the time, therefore I should command that high position now. That's not how it works. So you got to improve your skills constantly. Now, the other thing that you need to understand that your thoughts, feelings, actions, and results are also driven by your identity. If you operate your business, if you come to the table, you come to a meeting with an old identity, well, that's disempowering, okay? Start assuming that new identity, the 2.0 versions of yourself. The combination of positive intentions, your new identity that you've assumed for yourself, the success character, the ego, the super ego that you established in lesson 3, and the influences right now, all these things combine to make up your belief system. Your old belief system got you the results you got right now. You have to change your belief system with these 3 things to get different results. That's what the purpose of this graphic is, okay? And I hope you understand that. The books that you read, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, The Power of Consistency, if you're reading that, all of these things, they talk to the same thing. Change your way of thinking to get different results. As simple as that. So today I'm going to talk about right now this particular a case study on McDonald's. So what is McDonald's? My definition of McDonald's is a fast food joint that consistently serves up the crappiest burger on the planet, yet they make a lot of money. I'm sure each one of you can make a better hamburger than McDonald's can. The secret to a good hamburger isn't, the ingredients or the sauce or the love and the spices that you put into it, none of that. It's as simple as use real meat. I don't know what McDonald's puts in that Big Mac patty. It could be 20, 30% meat protein, 20, 30% soy protein, maybe some cardboard, perhaps some roadkill. I don't know what goes into it, but it comes out the same every time. Whether you buy a Big Mac in Times Square, New York McDonald's, or you buy a Big Mac in San Diego, it tastes exactly the same. It's a consistent crappy product. I mean, if you were a franchise owner and you were to put your own burger on the menu, okay, let's call it Joe's Burger. Well, it's not going to sell because people aren't expecting that. And if you try to sell that, McDonald's will yank your franchisee license because you're putting an unauthorized menu item. So, when you order a Big Mac, the average cost price, the sale price actually, in North America is $4. The cost to produce this is only $3. So every time a Big Mac is sold, the franchise owner makes about a $1 profit. So the margin is 33%. Now, when you place this order you go to the McDonald's counter and you place that order for a Big Mac, the typical, response from the student on the other end would be what? There used to be a time where they used to say, would you like to make a meal out of that? They used to also say, would you like to supersize that? Remember that? About 20, 30 years ago, I think it was. They came up with this whole concept of supersize. Actually, McDonald's Corporation, they realized that they were losing a lot of money because there was a lot more competition. People are eating healthier, so they had to make up for the losses. So they came up with this concept. They paid a consulting firm millions of dollars to come up with this study and the slogan, supersize me. And then once the Michael Moore's movie came out, Supersize Me, which talked about the negative effects of all of that stuff, the obesity, the hypertension, the high BP, heart diseases people are getting because of, supersizing stuff. That's when McDonald's backpedaled and they said, oh, we can't do that anymore. And then they came up with this simple, innocuous statement. Would you like a drink and fries with that now? And guess what? When that person says that, 80% of the people who order the Big Mac will say, yeah, sure, throw that in. And now the cart value goes from $4 to $6 now. But the cost to produce this meal now is only $3.35 because what is this drink? This drink is nothing but a mixture of syrup from one cylinder and carbonated water from another cylinder. The cost to produce that drink is only 4 cents. The cost to produce this fries is only 31 cents. So now all of a sudden the margin went from 33% to 82%. This is what is upselling or side selling. You need to understand these concepts, okay? This is how they make money. So any kind of business, bricks and mortar business or any kind of business has actually 4 components. In the case of McDonald's, the owner of the franchise is not in the back of the kitchen flipping burgers or cleaning the toilets or, mopping the floors or serving the customers. He or she just shows up to their franchise outlet once a week for maybe an hour as a mystery shopper, just does some random inspection to see if the restaurant's clean, the customers have a smile on their face, the crew is wearing the uniform. Then he does a walkabout to the toilet and make sure that, hey, the restroom is clean, that there's a check sheet that says when it was cleaned. Then he goes to the back of the kitchen, inspects the kitchen floor to see there's no pickles or tomatoes or grease on the floor or fries floating around or rodents or roaches floating around. Then he has a chat with the supervisors to say, hey, the manager of the restaurant to say, look, typically, on a Tuesday afternoon, when they look at the numbers, they say, typically on a Tuesday afternoon, we do these kind of numbers. What happened this past week? We seem to have had a huge, dip. And that's when the supervisor, they do some root cause analysis together and they find out that, hey, there were 3 people who didn't show up to work. There were no shows, 1 called in sick. That's when they make some decisions to say, okay, do we maybe hire more staff, fire some staff? What do we do? Get rid of the people who are not showing up all the time, cut them loose. They make those sort of decisions. Then the owner of the franchise just pays off some bills, pays off the taxes, the electricity bills, the supply bills, and off he goes playing golf. Just 1 hour a week. But this entire operation is run by high school students a couple of supervisors, and a couple of retirees, people who thought that they have saved up enough for their retirement, except now they realize that Social Security and their retirement savings is not cutting it for them. So they have to come back into the workforce as workers in fast food joints or maybe Walmart greeters, right? So it's a very efficient operation. This entire restaurant is run by a crew of high school students and low-skilled labor. The other thing is automation. It makes it more efficient, that entire operation more efficient. The touch screens, the fryers, the microwaves, the Coke dispensing machines, the headsets, the cash registers, all of that stuff make it very efficient. That's the idea about a McDonald's. They can service plenty of customers very quickly. Nobody comes to McDonald's and spends 2-3 hours sitting there whining and dining. They basically come, get a quick meal, spend about 15-20 minutes in the restaurant, off they go. That square footage, they can get so much more throughput through that even people who don't even come into the restaurant, they can go through the drive-through and order their meals. Very efficient operation. Whereas a restaurant would be like, okay, somebody's grabbed this table, they're sitting there for 2-3 hours, other people are waiting. They don't have this problem. The third component is standard operating procedures. There's a certain way to wrap that burger. There's a certain way to greet a customer. There's a certain way to upsell, side sell. My son worked at a McDonald's. He lasted only 2 weeks. And the first 2 weeks, all he did was make fries. He used to come home stinking of oil. It was disgusting. But he told me, you know what, Dad, this is how we do the fries. Fries come out, we toss them into a bin, and we sprinkle 3 sprinkles of salts, not 2, not 4, 3 sprinkles of salts, and toss it 3 times. The salt is spread evenly across the fries, and that's it. When you go to a McDonald's and order a burger, there's no customization that happens. The extent of customization could be, hey, hold the pickles, or hold the mayo, or hold the tomato, or whatever. You can't say, I want my burger well done, medium, or rare. There's no such customization. Even the hold the pickles or hold the mayo disrupts the entire assembly line process. They don't like that, but they're willing to bend a little bit. So there are standard operating procedures that makes that entire operation very efficient. And the fourth component is capital. They have to invest into that business to make sure that it produces an output. As you can see, they have used 6 levers here. The fourth lever is OPM lever, other people's money. And I'm going to show you how people do that in McDonald's. So the average cost, the cost of a franchise in North America is $1.5 million. But the average profit that a McDonald's makes, an outlet makes, is only $150,000. That may surprise you. You'd be like, Google it if you want. Now, obviously, a franchise in Times Square, New York will cost maybe $6, $7, $8 million. Maybe one rural Idaho may cost $400,000. But the average cost of a franchise is $1.5 million, and the average profit in North America is $150,000. So the ROI is 10% only. A lot of people say this is not a very good investment. Well, actually, I'm going to show you how it can be turned into a good investment. That has to do with capitalizing the business properly. So, when you apply for a McDonald's franchise, first of all, they don't accept anybody and everybody just because they got the money or they say, I want to get a McDonald's franchise. McDonald's evaluates you for your ability to run a restaurant efficiently. They'll interview you. And once they decide to award you the license, you have to come up with the money. 40% has to be non-financed, and the 60% could be financed. That means $600,000 has to be non-financed. And the way people do that is that they don't dig into their own savings. They may collapse maybe their their IRA or some investment portfolio, or take a loan against their 401k and put $50,000 of their own funds into it. And the remaining $550,000, they raise it through joint venture, silent partners, or private equity. There are companies, there are people, outfits out there that are willing to loan you the money. They want, they don't want to work in the business. They don't want to even go through the headache. They're like, I got capital sitting around. I want to give it to you so that my money can make more money. They may charge you mafia rates, but that's okay. People are willing to give you money there. All right. Now, the other 60%, which is 900,000, is raised through traditional means, which is a business loan from banks or lending institutions. So here's the math. Okay. If they're making a $150,000 profit, $100,000 of that goes off to pay off the investors and the business loan. The other $50,000 is pure profit. It's an income, but guess what? They only put in 52 hours of effort, because for every week they're showing up 1 hour to their restaurant, the franchise owner, as a mystery shopper. So for 52 hours, if they're making $50,000, that's 961 bucks an hour. I'm pretty sure nobody in this room makes that kind of money. But $50,000 is not enough for somebody to say, hey, I'm an entrepreneur. So they'll go ahead and repeat that same cycle with another outlet, another outlet. They'll get to maybe 5 outlets, 5 different franchises across a city. And now, using that same formula, give or take, they make about $250,000. After some time, the owner of the franchise will be like, I don't want to be driving around to 5 different locations, spending my entire day doing mystery shopping. Instead, I'm going to hire a regional manager to take care of that stuff for me. And they'll pay them a wage of $50,000. In doing that, now they've created a passive income stream of $200,000 for themselves, right? Isn't that cool? All through leveraging OPM. Now, having said that, this is not scalable. If suppose somebody wants to make $1 million, they can't go and get 20, 25 outlets. First of all, McDonald's Corporation won't allow that because that dilutes the brand. You have to prove to them that you can run an enterprise of that magnitude. So they will just give you at the most 5 or 10 outlets. But even then, it's not scalable. You can't hit $1 million doing this. And the challenge with expanding into having more outlets means more headaches, more employee issues, more labor issues, more municipal tax issues, different regulations, health issues. There's each county has a different health regulation. All these headaches, they don't want to deal with that. So they'll keep it small, but they are capped as to how much they can make in a bricks and mortar business. The beauty about a digital business is that it's very scalable. Once you get to know, once you develop the skill sets on how to do certain things, you can scale very rapidly. So leverage simply means the ability to do more with less. Leverage is the key to business success. So as you can see, in a mechanical system, you're often using an object, which is the lever, to lift, pull, or move something. Put in less effort, less time, less money to make more, simply by using leverage. Unfortunately, as an employee, you don't have leverage. You're trading time for money. There is no leverage there. There's a ceiling as to how much you can make. Even if you were to command, say, $1,000 an hour, if you're a brain surgeon, there's only so many hours in a day that you can do that, right? So there's a cap. Whereas with a business, there is no cap. It's up to you. There are some limitations with the bricks and mortar business, but with a digital business, if you get good at it, you invest the time and effort into yourself, into your business, you can make a lot of money. So how do the wealthy people get ahead? You understood all the 7 leverage points. So your digital courses give you 3. If you want to do coaching or mastermind, then we need to talk about that to make sure it's a good fit for you, because these are significant investments and we don't take it lightly. We want to make sure A, you're coachable, and B, it's a good fit for you. All right. So if you're interested in these things can accelerate your journey and expand the size of your results, as Jeff said. We need to talk about it to make sure if it's right for you or not. One of the most important leverage points is other people's money, OPM. This is where if your credit is good, you can get 0% funding for 15 to 18 months or low interest funding with low monthly payments. So you as an individual, how do you get access to OPM? In fact, you can get a free funding assessment done to ensure that your business is adequately capitalized. Getting the funding assessment does not even affect your credit score, and you can get it at either 0%, 12 to 18 months, as I mentioned, or low interest funding for 3 to 5 years, which means your monthly payments would be low. So if you end up getting qualified, it means that you have up to 1.5 years or more of runway to get your business going. This is how you play the OPM game like the wealthy and successful people do. This is how they create that advantage for themselves. I can send you more information later if you're interested on how to get the free funding assessment done with no obligation at all. And your assessment will be completed in 24 to 48 hours. All you have to do is submit a simple online application to see if you qualify. In fact, a lot of our successful students have been helped through this process to get their business capitalized for the long haul. So let's discuss the battle plan. You have 3 paths available to you. The first path is Entra Coaching Program. This is where you say, I'm interested in accelerating my journey and commit to build my digital business in 12 months with weekly small group coaching. These programs range anywhere from $12,000 at one end of the spectrum up to $32,000 for 12 months of coaching on the other end of the spectrum. This is where you say, I would like information on how to get the required investment funded at 0% or at a low interest rate. The second path is the Entra Experience live events. Okay, so this is basically a combination of both the coaching programs and 3 live events. This is where you are saying, I would like to be within the circle of influence of Jeff, Adam, and Todd. And those of you who do not know who Todd is, Todd Campbell, he is our Chief Transformational Officer, phenomenal guy. He and his team put together workshops that are not like the motivational workshops. I'll spend some more time at the next session talking about this. And there's a video from Jeff as well that goes into more detail that you'll be getting after this session, where I would like you to go through this from beginning to end to understand how the combination of experience, the Entra Experience live events and the coaching programs will help you catapult you into the results that you're looking for. Okay. So this is where you say, I want to learn from the best live event immersion programs in the world today that will get me to where I want to go, both personally and professionally. I want guidance / mentorship to execute on my marketing and implementation plan. I would like advice on how to get the required investment of $55,000 funded at 0% or low interest rate. The last part is without coaching. This is where you're saying, I'm interested in implementing my business with the current investment I've made in the digital courses and would like to have a 60-day checkpoint to do a reality check on the progress I have made. I will look into getting a tech expert, OPM expert, traffic specialist, and other experts to help ensure my success. Now, you can certainly launch your business without coaching. Remember, there's no shame in that. Or you can opt to accelerate your learning curve and journey by working with a small group coach to guide and mentor you through this journey. As a matter of fact, me personally, like I said, I fumbled the first 6 months, lost a lot of money, and then finally sucked it up and said, you know what? I need some guidance. I need somebody to hold my hand along my journey and hold me accountable, teach me some of the things that I do not know. And that's when I started to produce some real results. So before you decide, you've got to ask yourself these questions. Do you have a tech expert? Do you have an OPM consultant? Do you have a traffic specialist? Do you have a payment processing specialist? Do you have an asset protection specialist? What I mean by asset protection is that you got to understand this. When I was at one of the masterminds, this was way before Entra, this is where I learned something really interesting, which is, you see, as an entrepreneur, you can make a lot of money. And you never know, down the road, you might have a big mansion with fancy cars. Not that everybody wants to have that stuff, but some people want that. It's up to you what you want. Either way, you become a target. Trust me, you will become a target because number one, the government is going to come after you for the taxes, okay? Because you're making, if you're making that kind of money, they want their pound of flesh. Also, there are individuals, unscrupulous individuals who, if they see you have a fancy mansion, fancy cars in your driveway, they could be walking on your driveway and they're like, hey, let me see how I can squeeze some money out of you. And they're like, you know what, let me just twist my ankle and sue. There are people out there who just out of envy want to make a quick buck off of you. So one of the things I learned at the mastermind was that never, ever own a house in your own name. Instead, have the house owned by a limited liability corporation, which is your business, your company. And you can set that company in a certain way where the ownership of that company is also obfuscated. What that means is that suppose somebody wants to find out who owns the company to sue, well, they have to jump through hoops, and the amount of money and time and effort that they have to spend with a lawyer just to find out who owns that company, it just doesn't become worth their while to do that. All right. So they won't even go there. Now, even though my wife and I, we own the house under our names, we are in the process and have spent some serious money to get that changed so that our business owns our house and investment properties. So there are ways to do that. And we will be scheduling you with a consultation with a tax advice company on how to structure your corporate entity. We will do that at the end of the boot camp when I connect with you one-on-one. I will schedule you with the tax advice company. Okay, remind me to do that. So these are certain concepts that you will be learning once you start rubbing shoulders with wealthy, successful people at live events and masterminds, and on how do you protect your assets. Now, there's no shame in that. Hey, all the wealthy, successful people do it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? So yeah, you've got to have an asset protection specialist. And all of this stuff is made available to you as you grow and mature as an entrepreneur with Entra. Also, you need to ask yourself, do you have a salesperson? Maybe you're good at sales, maybe not. Why not have someone else do the sales for you? You've got to ask these questions. These are very important questions. And you've also got to ask, are you surrounded by people who have a higher average income than you? Okay, because as I've mentioned before, you are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. If you walk into a room and you're the wealthiest person or the smartest person, well, you're in the wrong room. You want to be hanging out with people above you. That's how you grow, because they will pull you to their level. That's how you become wealthy. You've got to surround yourself with the right kind of people. Are you surrounded with people who will push you and pull you to achieve the excellence that you're looking for? And in these advanced programs, you will get access to all of this stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. Can you succeed without coaching? Absolutely. You just need to be more focused, resourceful, and resilient. However, on the flip side, if you're actively working with a coach, the results are a lot better, a lot faster, right? Not easier, a lot better and a lot faster, because you minimize the amount of mistakes you're going to be making. All right. So these are the questions I want you to ask yourself. Am I just interested, or am I committed to building true wealth? Remember, you started this journey to build true wealth as being the ultimate goal, and having a business that funds your awesome life that you envision for yourselves. So as you get set to launch your business, you have to ask yourself if you want to do this all by yourself behind a computer screen, or with active technical guidance from a certified coach or coaches and mentors like Jeff, Adam, and Todd. You're about to start this exciting journey. How do you want to play this game? Do you want to play this game as a hobbyist, as an amateur, or as a professional? So let's take the metaphor of golf. Now, I went golfing a long time ago. I'm more of a soccer player. So about 20 or 25 years ago, I went to the driving range with a buddy of mine, and I just started whacking the balls with all my strength. But the very next day, I realized, uh-oh, I have a kink in my back. And that's been a recurring back injury that I'm still paying the price for it. As a matter of fact, I got to go see a chiropractor once every 2 or 3 weeks to just get my back adjusted. Now, this guy, yeah, certainly, he's got the hat, the shirt, the colors, but look at him. He doesn't look like a professional. He's got a beer belly. Okay. Now, this guy, yeah, this is me with a kink in my back. This guy, well, I don't know what he's doing. He seems to be destroying the turf. And these guys, oh, well, they're looking for balls. So you've got to ask yourself, how serious are you about running a business? You can run it like a hobby. Well, hobbies cost money. And yes, over a period of time, you keep doing that hobby, you can get marginally better. But you can never, ever be a professional as a hobbyist. So there's wisdom in getting a coach who can kind of guide you how to do things the right way, help you develop the right techniques, the right discipline, the right way to swing that golf club. Coaches can point out mistakes in your game, point out discipline issues, give you technical guidance and assistance. And that's what these professional golfers do, right? Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy, Greg Norman, Kari Webb, Annika, Michelle V. All these professional golfers, they have caddies and coaches and mentors who guide them. These professionals invest a lot of time and effort and money into their profession, into their business. It's a business for them. They're treated like a business. They're disciplined. They don't go playing this game willy-nilly, because there's a lot of prize money at stake here. These golfers, when they enter a tournament, they say, yes, I'm going to show up to this golf tournament. They don't have to pay fees to enter the tournament. Just by getting their name on the roster, the tournament organizers pay them money. Even if they don't end up, first, second, or third, they still get paid. Not only that, they get a lot of money on endorsements. These guys are professionals. Even in acting, Hollywood actors like, let's say, Brad Pitt. If Brad Pitt were given a role in a movie that requires him to put on 40 pounds of weight, because that's what the role or character requires, a heavy-set guy. Well, if it's a $20 million deal, what will Brad Pitt do? Yeah, he'll go and hire a nutritionist. He'll hire a fitness trainer. He'll hire a coach or mentor to get him to put on the 40 pounds of weight in time for the movie, and also lose it in a very safe and effective way without injuring himself, without jeopardizing his health, because it's an investment they're making to get a bigger reward. And these people take it seriously. They understand the game. They know how to play this game. People who play in the farm team, They pay their own bus fare to make it to the scrimmage. The professional players, they have a limo to come and pick them up and take them to a private jet for their games because they're on top of their game. Are you just dipping your toes into this business, or are you serious about this business? So, we can talk about how to get you started for your own unique situation or circumstances. All right. Being coachable, is about awareness and the ability to take the gold nuggets from a situation and use them to your advantage. There is wisdom in being coachable. It means that you're paying attention to other people, their experience, the wisdom, the skills, the knowledge that they have, gained over the years. Jeff has the knowledge. Adam has the knowledge. Todd has the knowledge. Other coaches and members who have been through this journey have the knowledge. They understand the blind spots. They understand the bad muscle memory that people can develop because they've had it happen to themselves. Like I said, when I first started out, I lost $12,000 in my first 6 months, partly because of my own fault. Secondly, it's because there were some technical concepts that I wasn't getting, even though I was a technologist. So you have to be able to listen close enough and apply those nuggets to see what might help you in your own journey. But coaching is not right for you if you demonstrate any of these behaviors, okay, where you are always thinking you're right. You're not willing to learn new things, not open to change. You're negative and pessimistic. There's eye rolling happening when you're being given constructive feedback. Inability to self-respect. You don't care about improving your life or your relationships, disrespecting others and their opinions. Generally unwilling to learn or grow or do what it takes to improve and putting other people down. If you demonstrate any of these behaviors, either you say, you know what, I'm going to make an effort to correct these behaviors, or if you're not willing to correct these behaviors, then coaching is not right for you. Our coaching programs, I'll be the first one to say this, our coaching programs are not a good fit for everybody. You have to understand and appreciate that, because we have limited capacity for coaching and we want to make sure that we get the right kind of people into these opportunities. All right. So as you graduate, I'm going to encourage you to take your tank out in the spin. Yes, you may crush some cars. You may get a few nicks, dents, and bruises. That's okay. Just make sure if you're going to crush some cars, there's nobody sitting inside those cars, okay? Because that can be pretty dangerous. If you want to learn how to drive your tank in formation, then yeah, get a mentor. Get a coach to work with you. The intention is that as you're stepping out for battle, you want to be hitting your targets. You're not going to hit the target right away. It's going to take some time. As long as you're shooting in the right direction and doing the right things, you'll get there. The philosophy in entrepreneurship is ready, fire, aim, not ready, aim, fire. Take action. If you're missing the targets consistently, you gotta, take a step back and recalibrate the way you're doing things. You need to maybe look at your skills to up those skills a little bit. Maybe you need to look at your daily method of operation and say what you're not doing right. Are you being consistent? Are you being persistent? All these sort of things factor in as you run a brand new business, especially a digital business. Okay, so now we're going to switch over to the Zoom room. Click on the blue button on the top right corner on your computer screen, which says Join Live Q&A Session. If you're on a smartphone, it should be there at the bottom of your video where it says Join the live Zoom room. As usual, please make sure you join by internet audio and turn on your webcam so we can do a Q&A. Hello, hello, hello. Jessica, Josh, Matt Nord, Jason. All right, let's see, Troy. Perfect. Where's Troy? He was there. There's Troy. Crystal. Josh Smitherman, your camera is not on. There you go. It's coming on. 2 people from the space age today, George and Josh. Good stuff.
Well, they blur their backgrounds.
I know. Philip. Can you hear me, Philip? All is entering. All right, we have a lot of people today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're expecting 2 more, right, Val?
Yes, waiting for Jonathan. Okay.
Okay, no problem. You know what? We're going to get started. So, all right, cool. We'll get started. I don't know what happened to the others, but those of you who are watching the recording, please continue to watch all the way till the end, as usual, and complete the questionnaire at the end of this video. Because once you do that, as usual, my staff will send you instructions on next steps. And there are some few more steps you need to do before you wrap up the boot camp, all right? So, as usual, I got to read this disclaimer. Is my screen showing, Val?
Yes.
All right, cool. Minimize this. Entra offers education and information which should not be construed as financial or investment advice or a guarantee of results. Entra does not offer a business opportunity, franchise, or money-making solution. Your results will vary and depend on various factors, including, but not limited to, the nature of the product, the conditions of the marketplace, your experience and dedication, your effort and resources, as well as situations and elements that are outside of your control. You should conduct your own due diligence before implementing any strategies for your particular business, and rely upon your own information, counsel, and advisors before undertaking financial risk. Everyone okay with that? Good with that?
Yeah.
Who's not good with that? That's probably a better way to do it. Okay. All right, cool. So again, I want to ask you, I'm going to pick randomly some people today to introduce themselves. But here's the challenge. When I ask who are you, the way I want you to answer it is with assertiveness and confidence and the future version of yourself. Does that make sense? You see, if you see the pattern that I've been doing all along, I asked in the very first questioning, who were you? That was your past. As you're doing the training, your mindset was shifting, right? So who are you was the next question, and now who are you becoming? So I want you to introduce yourself as a future version of yourself when I ask you, okay? Let's create a scenario. We'll have a bit of a role play here, okay? So has anybody been to any kind of networking events in the past? No? You have, Jesse? Yeah, you have. So a networking event doesn't necessarily have to be like a formal networking event. I mean, even a backyard barbecue party or a funeral or a wedding reception, you meet with people, right? Strangers, and you introduce yourself to them, right? So
Yes.
same scenario. Okay, so but let's take the scenario of like a business meetup. Has anybody ever been to meetups? Meetup.com? Yeah. Those of you who do not know, meetup.com, if you go to meetup.com and put in your city, you will find a lot of interest groups of people. There are yoga enthusiasts, there are dog walkers, there are Nordic walkers. You know what Nordic walkers group is? I just found out in Toronto, there's a group of Nordic walkers, and I was curious to find out what that is. Apparently, it's those people who walk with sticks as though they're skiing, cross-country skiing. It's a good exercise, apparently, but not my thing. I like to get my exercise playing an actual sport, but I'm not going to poo-poo that. But yeah, there are those sort of clubs. Then there are also a lot of business networking clubs, e-commerce, digital agency clubs, and all that stuff, where you can go, and they have sessions once or twice a month where you go and just mingle with people and mastermind and discuss ideas and strategies, that kind of stuff, or just get to know other people. Like I said, people like to find eagles in this industry. Everybody saw that email that I sent you about eagles? I just came across that. Wasn't that wonderful? Isn't it just amazing what a great bird that is? But yeah, so the idea is that you have to start kind of associating yourself with the right kind of people, the eagles. I will share a story of mine as to how I botched that when I first started out in this industry in a big way. But let's get started with this, okay? Let's assume you're at a business networking event and you have to introduce yourself. So eeny, meeny, miny, mo, Josh, you get to go. Josh?
Yes, I am
All right.
here.
Why don't you get to go? Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let's assume you're at a business networking event.
Yeah, hi, my name is Josh Smitherman. I am an entrepreneur and online affiliated marketing specialist. I've helped grow many different brands and businesses over the last year or so, and would love to be able to understand a little bit more about you and what you do.
You already saw my recording, didn't you? Bastard. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you that.
That's okay. I've been called worse.
Huh?
I've
Beg
been
your
called
pardon?
worse.
Okay. So You already watched the recording, so why are you here attending this session again?
No, I haven't watched the recording.
Already. Okay, cool. So anyways, yeah, bingo. I love the way, Josh introduced himself. He introduced himself as a future version of himself because he already knows he's going to be there. For some reason, people have this tendency to shortchange themselves and be like, you know what, I'm kind of started studying this affiliate marketing thing with Entra, and there's this Jeff guy, and then there's this Al guy who talks pretty, nonsensical stuff. And I'm learning, but I'm trying to learn and blah, blah, blah. And they just sort of stumble across and just kind of introduce themselves. And also sometimes people introduce themselves with their profession. They'll say, hey, I'm a banker, or I'm a real estate broker, or I'm a supervisor, maintenance supervisor, this or that, whatever. They introduce themselves with their profession, and then they go and talk about stuff. It's sad that people have to associate their identity with their job that they do, as opposed to who they are, what's their essence. Does that make sense, guys?
It's a very good point.
Yeah. So, my suggestion is don't do it like that. Just like how Josh said, I'll give you guys a script to do. This is called an elevator pitch. But before I give you that, let me tell you what I did, how I botched this up a long time ago. I started my journey in 2014, much like you guys. I bought a $49 program with another company. Entra didn't even exist back then. And they had something called a 21-step training system for $49, where, similar philosophy. It went to a point where I had to make a decision to purchase a $2,500 course to do a deep dive into affiliate marketing. I did that. And then I started to call myself, okay, look, I'm going to be becoming a digital entrepreneur and affiliate marketer, and that's that kind of stuff. So one of the first things I did was say, hey, I need to expose myself to other people in this industry and start rubbing shoulders with people like that, and, maybe see if they're interested in my products and services. And I spent a lot of time trying to name my business, give my business a name. And I came up with the name rapidstartbusiness.com. Rapidstartbusiness.com. What do you guys think about that business name?
Good.
Jessica, I'm glad you said this. It was stupid.
Pretty good.
It was a very stupid name, actually, in hindsight, because you see, my thinking there was that, you know what? I'm sure there are lots of people like me who would want to start a business very rapidly without having to worry about the bricks and mortar and this, that, and all that other headache that comes with hiring people and getting, location, furnish that place and all that stuff. So this is a very easy way to start a business on the internet. So I call it rapidstartbusiness.com. I even went to the extent. Paul, your video is not on. I can't see you, Paul.
Let me check.
Yeah. So I went ahead and, said, okay, fine, let me go through this. I even ran that name by my kids. And my kids were like, Dad, that's a stupid name, but I didn't listen to them. I'm like, whatever, I'm going to go with this name. And I made that decision. So I went to this, I saw an ad on TV called the Vista Print, where they said, hey, there was an ad, TV 25 only, print your business cards, $50 for 250 cards. I'm like, oh, I went online and I typed in the thing, the code and all that stuff, and all said and done, by the time I got done with the order, there was an upsell, a side sell to put they'll even design a logo, they'll put something on the back of the card. By the time everything got done, why is Jonathan joining so late? All right, I'll let him in. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to continue. I don't know what's going on with Jonathan. Can you hear me? Hey, Jonathan. There was a bit of a delay in you joining this meeting. We've already been at it for about 4 or 5 minutes now. What happened? Everything okay?
Yeah, sorry about that. I was just busy working, but had to let everyone know I was jumping out.
Did you catch the first part completely?
Yes, I did.
So you missed a little bit of the first part. So chances are you're not going to have much context as to what we're talking about, and I'm not gonna go back and kind of repeat that. Is that okay? If you want,
that's okay.
Send you a recording of this. You can watch it later. Okay, so that you have some context as to what we're talking about. So anyway, long story short, I went ahead and placed this order, and I got 1,000 cards for, I think, $250. Went from $50 to $250, whatever. I said, and armed with those cards, I used to shove them into my pocket and go every weekend to one of these meetups for e-commerce meetups, business meetups, and so on and so forth. Okay. Jessica, I'm going to put you on mute if you don't mind. Okay. I'm getting some ruffling sound. That's okay. So I did that, and I started to go there, and people would, there would be a speaker talking about some topic or the other, and we'd all listen to that. It would be held in a restaurant or a community center, and then after that there would be refreshments, wine, beer, whatever. You network with people, and the typical thing there was to dish out business cards, and be like, yeah, real like speed networking, And at the end of that networking session, I mean, when people are all leaving, I'd find a couple of my business cards on the floor with trample marks on them. I'd be so offended. I'm like, damn it, I spent good money on that. But anyways, that's how it was. That's how I started to do it. I'm going to suggest don't waste your time, effort, and money on business cards. There's a better way. Like Josh said, to introduce yourself. Okay, do it like this. Write this down. Okay. Hi, my name is Crystal. I'm a successful digital entrepreneur. I own several digital real estate assets in my portfolio. I make my living leveraging the internet, a laptop, and a Wi-Fi connection. I travel the world, conduct my business from anywhere and everywhere in the world. I help small businesses also leverage the internet to further their business. My last year, my revenue was very, very good. But enough about me. Tell me a little about yourself.
It's good.
Okay? Short and sweet. It's called a 15-second elevator pitch. Now, here's what's going to happen. Okay. The person that you're talking to, let's assume that person is a real estate broker, right? They will introduce themselves and say, I'm a real estate broker. I own my own real estate agency, and I have 20, 30 brokers working under me, and blah, blah, blah. Last year, I made $50 million in listings and blah, blah, blah. They'll go on and on. If they are somebody that you can help, be interested in them then. Okay. Ask probing questions. Really, you sell in that neighborhood. That's amazing. I have some friends in that neighborhood. They may be looking to move. Maybe I can put you in touch with them. Right. That's what networking is all about. Right. So you basically be interested in them if they are somebody that you can help. If not, then just be like, hey, have a polite way to exit that conversation because you got other people to meet. Right. But give them the time of day if these people are interested. Be interested in them. Let them toot their horn. They'll talk about this, that, and the other, and be interested in them. Ask probing questions. But at the end of that, after this, you've given them 10, 15 minutes of the spotlight to introduce themselves, there's going to be that awkward silence, right? Be quiet. Don't say anything. Obviously, they'll say to you, wait a second, you gave me 10, 15 minutes to tell who I am, made me feel good, but you just took 15 seconds to introduce yourself, and you said something very intriguing. So they'll be interested in asking you, wait a second, Crystal, you said digital real estate. What is digital real estate? That creates intrigue in their mind. He's like, I'm in real estate, but I've never heard of digital real estate. Is this some crypto nonsense or whatever? No, you can then start to kind of explain a little bit. No, it's basically leveraging the internet through my website. I get a lot of business. And they'd be more interested in you now. And this is where you say, can you explain a little bit more? Or they try to get inquisitive about you because they're also kind of frustrated that, my God, I'm running like a crazy person, spending 40, 50 hours a week in my business, showing listings and all that stuff. And you seem to be enjoying the world, traveling the world, and making really good money. So what's going on here? So, this is where you don't spend time to kind of, or use your precious time to sit down and explain things to them, what affiliate marketing is or what are marketing agencies and all that stuff. Just be like, you know what? I'd love to spend more time with you to talk. I just want to meet a few other people here. I'll tell you what, pull out a notepad, a tiny little notepad, write down, go to crystalwood.com. Okay. There's a free download on how you can leverage the internet for your business. Enter your email there and I'll automatically send you that information. But I'd love to, and if there's something that I can help you with, feel free to hit me up. Send me an email or call me or send me a text. Maybe we can meet up for coffee or do a Zoom call sometime in the future. But by the way, and also finish that conversation by asking them, by the way, did you get value out of the session today that you came to? They may say, whatever, right? They may say, well, not really. I came here to see how to motivate my bunch of loser real estate agents who are working on a base plus variable compensation. They're not hungry for business. And all they're doing is, whatever. I just thought I'd come here and get some tips on how to kind of motivate my team. Aha, when they say that, they've shared their pain point with you, right? That's very good information. So make a note, this person is looking for leads. This person is looking for that, so that you can also follow up with them later on. So by giving them something on a piece of paper and a written, it's something unique that you did. It's not typical people do that, right? If you give a digital, like some people scan a QR code, well, onto their phone, that's how they get networking these days. Even that, it just goes into a digital database, which they don't even know how to even respond to that. But here, you put on a note, I help small businesses leverage the internet, go to crystalwood.com. They'll fold that piece of paper and keep it in their pocket. And they will probably come to your website and check you out. And they may enter their email address there. Give me 1 second, guys. It's my wife calling. I have to take this. Yes, Carol? Okay, you'll have to come down and get it from me. I'm in a meeting right now, okay? Okay, fine, bye. Sorry about that, guys. So, yeah, they will be very interested in coming to your website and checking you out. And guess what? When they enter their email address, you got another email person on your email list that you can market to now. It's a very good situation to go from being the hunter to the hunted. Okay? When are you leaving? Okay, fine. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm the chief financial officer. I had to give my credit card to my wife because she's going shopping. Go for it. Go crazy. Anyways, so that's a good situation to be in, right? So start practicing that. And yes, you may feel a little uncomfortable doing this. You may feel a little uncomfortable doing this, but there's a reason why I'm asking you to do this. Okay, so before I go any further, how about this? Phil, why don't you introduce yourself with the script that I just gave you? Practice this and unmute yourself first, Phil. You're muted.
Okay. I almost got all of the script written down. I'm not that fast of a writer, but let's go.
No
okay. Hi, my name is Philip. I'm an online entrepreneur. I leverage my former career as a 5-star chef to assist people in producing high quality meals and building high quality kitchens. I have an online business where you can access high quality kitchen equipment, as well as check out videos on cooking certain recipes, seasonal recipes, sourcing different kinds of food. And you can really up your game in your kitchen. I think that's about all I have.
Okay, no, that's good. I'm glad, so I'll repeat it again, okay? In case people didn't get it. Hi, my name is Phil Southern. I'm a successful digital entrepreneur. I own several digital real estate assets in my portfolio. I leverage the internet, my laptop, and a Wi-Fi connection to conduct my business. I travel the world. Last year, my business did really well. But enough about me. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Remember, you don't ask, what do you do? Because you're leading them into introducing themselves as their profession, which is a no-no, guys. You don't want to take the identity of what your boss gives you if you're an employee. I'm a police officer, I'm a banker, I'm a plumber. I mean, isn't it sad that, people's, as we grow older, our identity is determined by an employer or a title given to us by a boss or a supervisor? You can call yourself a successful digital entrepreneur right now. You're an expert compared to a person on the street. You may feel like, I'm not really an expert yet, but guess what, guys? You know so much more about this. Even the fact that you just did the $39 program, you at least understand at a high level, what affiliate marketing is, at a high level, what a marketing agency is, at a high level, what a knowledge business is. Yes, you have the courses, you'll be studying more and getting more into it after the boot camp gets done. But start believing it that you're going to go there. And don't worry, Entra's human resources or Jeff or me are not going to come here and say, hey, Paul, how dare you call yourself a successful digital entrepreneur? You just started the course. We don't have a HR police that's going to come after you. You can claim that title. Put that crown on your head. You're an expert. You're an expert to an average person on the street who knows nothing about internet business. Yes, I'm an expert to you guys. Jeff is an expert to me. I'm sure Jeff has a mentor or a coach who's an expert to him. So, guys, take that title, start being that person. All right? Because you see, as kids, if you don't, I remember when I took my kids to Disneyland or Disney World, whatever is in Orlando, we did a road trip about when they were 10 years ago or something. And man, they were so excited. We did that trip over like 3 days, broke journey in Nashville, here, there, and everywhere. And every time I'm in the minivan, I can still remember those Mickey Mouse movies. They were playing nonstop. They were so excited. They were like, my kids and the nephew and niece that I took with us, they were so excited about going and meeting Mickey Mouse. They're playing, role play and like, hey, hi, I'm Mickey Mouse. And imagine taking pictures with the princess and going up and down the roller coaster and all that stuff. They're already living it. They're almost believing that they were already there. The only question I kept getting asked every 10 minutes or every maybe hours, are we there yet? Are we there yet? It was so frustrating. But anyways, kids have that. For some reason, we tend to lose that ability to imagine ourselves being somewhere else because life has happened to us. Stop being the victim, guys. Start acting and behaving like the future versions of yourself, starting yesterday. Okay? So, I know whatever I'm suggesting. And the thing is that you don't want to say like, I'm kind of sort of doing this, but, blah, blah, because nobody wants to do business with a person who's kind of not sure about what they're saying. So practice this pitch. The more and more you do it, the better and better you'll get at it. Okay. So, coming back to this presentation, remember, I've always said to you, use positive language to describe yourself. Is my screen showing? Yeah. Use
Yes.
and instead of saying, who are you becoming, start believing that you're going to be there. The way I'm talking right now, this is my 9th year in digital business. I'm talking as the Al 10.0 version of myself right now. Jessica, you'll be Jessica 2.0. Of course, don't say, hey, I'm Jessica 2.0. You understand what I mean, right? So use positive language. That's why I always said, don't call yourself 57 years old. Say 57 or 57 years young, 90 or 90 years young. Talk with confidence. Don't use self-deprecating words. Put yourself on a pedestal. You don't have a boss here. I don't need to put you on a pedestal. Jeff doesn't need to put you on a pedestal. Nobody in Entra needs to put you on a pedestal. You need to climb onto that pedestal and claim that title for yourself. Okay? So positive self-talk is very important. This is how you work on your self-confidence. Now, whatever I'm saying, there's this concept called imposter syndrome, right? Imposter syndrome. Like, I'm still not comfortable. Yeah, I do not know what I'm going to be doing. I think I'll be doing affiliate marketing. I think, don't worry. When we start connecting for your trajectory planning sessions, I will help you make a determination as to which business model is best for you to get started with. Okay? And you will grow into that as you study more and start doing the things that you need to do, whether you do it yourself or with a coach or through leadership event series. You will get there. Okay? Nobody can stop you. Only you can stop you. All right? So this imposter syndrome, some people say the strategy to overcome this imposter syndrome is this thing called fake it till you make it. Have you heard of that phrase? Fake it till you make it? What do you think of that phrase? I don't like it. I don't like it. I'd rather you be it while you do it. Be it while you do it. Okay? All right. So your elevator pitch should be short, It should be personalized. It should be interesting. And yes, be confident, not arrogant. Be confident. The purpose of this elevator pitch is just to make sure that you're engaging the listener. Explain what you do, not what your title is. Yes, when you ask the question of that other person, tell me a little bit about yourself, you kept it open-ended. You didn't say, hey, what do you do? What's your profession? You're not asking that. They will walk into that trap and they'll feel kind of silly. But I'm not suggesting that you do this to make them feel silly, but this shows that you are communicating your value. What do you bring to the table? If that real estate agent says, oh, wow, you can help me get more leads, maybe I should look you up. The dentist says, oh, maybe you can help me get more leads. Great. Oh, you talk about affiliate marketing. I'm selling a product or service. I'd be willing to offer you a commission on that. Yeah. So communicate your value. And if you have some achievements over a period of time where you've gotten results in your business, promote that achievement. Promote that achievement to say, I've done this for other people. I've done this for myself. I've done this for my family, where we are out of debt. We are traveling the world. We are doing this, that, and the other. But very important, demonstrate your passion as well. Okay. All right. So speak like you're an expert, listen like you know nothing. All right. Cool. All right, moving on. So lesson 11 in the boot camp, spent some time talking about OPM, where that red-bearded guy, Curtis Nally, he owns that Lending America company, but we don't use that company anymore because what they do is they used to get 0% financing for people based on doing a shotgun approach of getting a lot of credit cards. We realize that that's not a good way to do it because that means a lot of inquiries into your credit report. Instead, we have another company called True Heroes that can do a free funding assessment. And I think somebody said, when we were attending it, saying, I want to get that free funding assessment. No problem. When the timing is right, I will introduce you to True Heroes, where they can do a free funding assessment to see what you can raise as capital for your business. But I want to stress upon this whole concept of good debt versus bad debt. All right. So, Matt, give me, what's your definition of good debt?
Well, in my old way of thinking, how I was raised about money, is that good debt, or there is no such thing as good debt. All debt was bad, right? Credit cards, mortgage, whatever, all that other kind of stuff was all there. There was no such thing as good debt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm learning to think about that differently. It's been ingrained in me since I was, 12 years old or whatever like that, listening to my mother.
You've been programmed by your parents, by the schooling system, by the friends you keep. You've been programmed to think like that. Correct. Do you know any rich entrepreneur who doesn't raise money for their business?
No, I don't. That's why that book, the first book that you recommended for us, has been very enlightening to help me rethink or retrain my brain to rethink about that stuff.
Exactly. All that programming needs to go. Don't you wish this sort of boot camp training was available to you during high school?
Yeah.
Life would have been very different right now, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
When we meet for your one-on-one, ask me. I believe there's a conspiracy as to why they don't teach this kind of stuff in school.
Write it down.
So anyways, you're right. A lot of people tend to think good debt is, there's no such thing as good debt or bad debt. Okay. Good debt is simply money that you borrow that can make you more money, where you employ that in a business to generate more money. The good thing about good debt is it's also a tax, it can be written off against your taxes. Get Uncle Sam to pay for your business, guys, because when you write that off, you get a significant refund from the government. If Trump can do it, why can't you? Okay. So bad debt, on the other hand, is when you're using credit to buy like a big screen TV. I know, people go shopping and they're like, oh, low interest, no payments, for 24 months. Good. I'm buying that TV. Well, that's, as soon as you walk out that store with that TV out of Best Buy, that TV has depreciated by 30%. And it's not a depreciating asset, it's a depreciating liability. Because by the time you go and hang that TV on the wall and you start watching the boob tube, you're wasting your time rather than investing in your business and learning some new skills. I call it a liability. Don't get me wrong. I watch TV, but I just set maybe 2 or 3 hours just to watch my Manchester United soccer game once a week. Nobody can disturb me for that, Even my wife knows that she better not come and say, hey, you got to fold clothes and all that. I'm like, I'm not folding clothes. I'm watching my game right now, and if it so happens that I have to go for something very important, I'll PVR it and watch it later as though it's live. But yeah, I'm not a TV freak. There used to be a time where I used to spend a lot of time listening to news and watching sports and this, that, debates. It's a waste of time right now. So it's a depreciating asset, in my opinion. Putting your credit card, a vacation, a cruise on a credit card for $5,000-$6,000 to take the family out. Yes, it's good to enjoy that, but there's no way of it making you money. You're paying interest on something that gave you temporary satisfaction. Get your business to make money and then fund your cruises. I go on a cruise once a year. It's a total write-off for me, business write-off, because I go to a cruise of, they have cruises for digital entrepreneurs, marketing experts, where you go and mastermind on a cruise for 7 days. You have fun and frolic. You make a lot of connections. Yes, you get pissed drunk sometimes, and make an ass of yourself, but that's okay. It's a safe environment. And when I come back, I give it to my accountant. He writes it off. There are smart ways to do this. Okay, so moving on. Like I said, good debt has the potential of making you more money. Bad debt, absolutely not. Okay, so my screen is showing, right, guys? Okay, something is happening with my computer these days. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't show. Okay, so as simple as that. Now let's take the example of, let's say a cafe. Jessica, let's say you own this cafe, all right? And for some reason, you have a lineup of people lining up to come into your store to buy coffee. Okay, maybe you've got a special blend from an exotic place like Rwanda or someplace. You got some really good coffee coming in from there. You're the only supplier, and there are people lining up to get your coffee. But you notice that, there's a leakage happening in your business. You're leaking customers. Some people get tired of waiting in the line. They just go next door to another place. Maybe this lady has a little kid in tow, and she's like, the kid is yanking on the mother's purse saying, mommy, I forget coffee. I want to go to the ice cream shop. Let's go to the ice cream shop. And she gets frustrated. She's like, okay, I can't wait 10, 15 minutes to get my cup of coffee. I'll just go to the ice cream shop down the road here. They also have coffee. I'll just do it, no problem. But here's what's happening in your business, okay? You got to understand these concepts, that for every person that walks into your business, they don't just buy coffee. I was traveling recently and I really needed a cup of coffee. I don't usually buy coffee. I have a very, high-end espresso machine. I take 1 or 2 shots of that espresso, that capsule. It's not like one of those Keurig cups. This is like a proper capsule, an espresso capsule that produces awesome espresso. And it's just 35, I think 40 or 50 cents per capsule. But I bought at Starbucks, man, that coffee was like $4.50. By the time I finished the order, I was totally confused. She's like, venti this and venti that. And I'm like, whoa, I just want a cup of coffee. And by the time I got that coffee, the bill, I just bought a muffin with it. The whole thing came up to be about $10. Plus they even ask you straight away, suggest a tip. I'm like, what tip? Like, it's almost all self-serve here, I ended up spending $12 for a small cup of coffee and a muffin at Starbucks. Think about it. The cost price of that coffee was probably, let's say, $1. Okay, but they sell that for $4 a cup of coffee. You make a $3 profit on a cup of coffee. Maybe that muffin costs $1. With everything, taxes and everything done. So for every customer that walks in, the average order value is, say, $10. If your cost price is $2, that means you're making $8 profit per customer on average, right? If you have 1,000 people walking into your store every day, that means on average you're making $8,000 profit a day, right, Jessica? Is my math correct? Yeah. So, but you notice that, people are getting frustrated and people are leaving. Let's say you hire a high school student to sit across the street and observe what's happening, and he comes back and says, you're losing about 10% customers every day. What are some things you can do to, not leak that $2,000 a day profit that you might be getting? If you're losing 20% of your customers in a day, you're losing $2,000 a day, right? What are some of the things that you can do to plug that leakage?
Is it okay to unmute myself now? Sorry.
That's not the SNAG
I
rough
keep
and
getting
paper.
muted. Okay. Well, I guess first thing would be retraining and training with the goal with, as we're talking about, telling people, hey, it's you that they're buying, not this, not our products, hire more people and get a better system working, such as, go through the line, have someone go through the line and talk to each person, maybe pre-get orders and have, more of a system going. So I would start that way and maybe even look into hiring more if that's the case. If you have more income coming in, hire more people.
Exactly. I agree with you. Those are all good strategies. But unfortunately, hiring more people also means you need more space, right? If you have the space here,
Yep.
tiny shop, you
Small.
buy this guy out because he's hardly doing any business. But unfortunately, this guy doesn't want to sell because he's maybe a mafia guy who's just got a pizza joint as a front. Okay. But you cannot expand, all right, your business. So hiring more people means more people bumping inside, or maybe, some people have said, when I gave the scenario in the past, they said maybe have a kiosk outside, where you have ready-made coffee, you can get up and go. Yeah, but you need city permits and all that stuff to put a kiosk outside because that could be a traffic hazard, right? But you also notice that you're losing money to this thing. What you can do is another strategy: increase the average order value without increasing your prices of your coffee and this thing. Hey, maybe what if you were to go ahead and maybe invest in a ice cream machine, learn how to operate that. So people come in for coffee, people come in for, muffins and croissants and, biscuits or whatever you got going on there. Well, there's ice cream also available now in my shop. Those people who come with their kids, they're also happy to come there, spend some time in the coffee shop and get their ice cream. Yeah, this ice cream machine may cost you $10,000. But what if you could finance this for, say, $400 a month? But you're making $800 more profit as a result. Does that make sense to do that? Right? That's good debt. So that's where I'm going with this. So in terms of funding your business, there are several ways to fund your business. As I said, you have to capitalize your business. You don't want to start a journey coast to coast with $100 in your pocket. You're not going to make it very far. So, people typically fund their business through savings, or they have a HELOC or line of credit. They can borrow against their 401k. And by the way, guys, this 401k, people build that for retirement purposes. And these days, 401ks are probably not making money because of the current market conditions. Whatever you do, I had a student who withdrew all his money before it was due to be withdrawn, and he had a huge tax liability at the end of the year. And I said, "Well, who asked you to do that?" He's like, "Well, I just thought it's just sitting there. I got like $20,000 sitting there, and, not doing anything." By the time he withdrew it and paid the taxes on it, he only got like $8,000 or $9,000 of it. So don't withdraw from your 401k. Take a loan against it. Speak to your HR. You can go once a year and ask to be taking a loan against your own money, and the interest rate may be there, maybe 8, 9, 10%. But guess what? That interest you're not paying to a bank, you're paying that to yourself. You've created your own bank by having a 401k, and you've built the money there for a rainy day. Well, guess what? Maybe today is a rainy day. Okay, because if you just let it sit there, chances are it may start depreciating even more by the time you get time to collect money out of your 401k. So look into that. Okay. Credit cards. Some people have good credit. Your credit card companies may offer you 0% account balance transfers. I get those offers all the time, and I leverage the health out of those things. Okay, apply that towards more business. I use that for my marketing, and before I know it, I spend all that money on marketing. Before the bill comes due within 2 months, I can pay that entire thing off, and I already made profit on OPM. Okay, so look at that. Even if your credit is bad, there are ways to get credit cards at low interest rates and all that stuff. Disposable assets. I had a student of mine who really wanted to get into the coaching program, but he didn't have the funds. And he was very he really wanted to get into it. But then you know what he did? He came back to me a week later and said, "You know what, Al, I can fund it. I'll figure out a way to self-fund it." And he apparently sold his camper. He had a 45-foot camper or some motorized camper sitting in his driveway for the past 2 years, and he loved to go camping. But he said, "I just have used it only once or twice, that too only for a weekend, because I can't get time off from work to even go camping for 2 weeks. Work is so busy. I'm just like swamped." So he said he took the hit and he sold his camper for a loss. He bought it for 55 and he sold it for 45. And then recently he sent me a picture of his camper. He was apparently in New Zealand. Okay. Going around his camper, he showed the pictures of his camper and all that stuff. He sent it to me, and I'm like, I responded to him. I said, "Whoa, you bought a camper and you've shipped it to New Zealand to go camping? Man, you must be making very good money." He said, "No, I don't buy campers anymore. I just go to wherever I want to go and I rent them." I mean, this camper, the interior of this camper was better than my rental apartment that I have in Toronto. It even had a disco ball in the middle of the camper. I'm like, I don't know why you need a disco ball in a camper, but whatever. Maybe Kiwis and people in New Zealand, they like to party in their campers, who knows? But anyway, so that's a smart thing, and he even said that, he used to penny pinch by wanting to take his camper by a Starbucks or a McDonald's to, use the Wi-Fi there, get a Wi-Fi hotspot, because when he's traveling, he's not getting signal. So he used to pull up to all these places and spend 2 hours outside in the parking lot with his laptop trying to do his business. He finally got fed up of doing that. He's saying, I'm compromising my journey, my route, just because I need Wi-Fi connection. He got this thing called Rocket Stick, which is a USB stick that he attaches to his laptop. It's got an antenna and communicates directly with the satellite to get internet connection. He can get internet signals anywhere in the world. He said he pays $300 for that a month, but he's like, it's worth my time, worth it for me. That's smart. Okay. So you got to be smart about business, guys. All right. So anyway, moving on. Those of you who, I'm going to encourage all of you to get a free funding assessment done with True Heroes. Don't do anything right now. When we start connecting for your trajectory planning sessions, ask me about this. Okay. We will see what kind of funds you can raise. Even though it says FICO score needs to be 680 and above, they have other loan products, even for people with lower credit. They can get you funding. Yes, it may be a higher interest loan, but they can find funding for you, at various amounts. They have relationships with a lot of different lending institutes, private equity lenders, banks, credit card companies, lots of different people who can get funding. They have excess capital that they'd rather put out in the market and get some return on it. Okay. So we'll talk about all of this stuff. Now, coaching, there's a video after this, you finish section 3, Val will send you a video. Some of you have said, you would like to talk about coaching. We'll talk about it at the appropriate time, but I want you to watch that video first to understand how our coaching programs are structured. And coaching, by the way, is not mandatory. Coaching simply helps close the gaps between who you are, and where you want to be, from a personal perspective, as well as from a business perspective. Our coaches are technical experts as well as certified life coaches who can kind of give you the guidance that is needed. One of our students who was interested in coaching, he put up this post on our EntreNation Facebook group saying, I'm fairly new to Entre and the whole affiliate marketing world, finished the boot camp, and I'm about halfway through Jesse's training. But I have to make a decision between lone wolf and coaching. I'm an avid proponent of coaching. I think mastermind, compressing time and all, but weighing the pros against the required investment in my own logistical challenges. Currently, I'm only able to spend a couple of hours max per day developing my affiliate marketing business. I'm really torn if I should go for it right now. I'd appreciate any input. Thank you in advance. Stephanie, Brandon Brown, these are the husband and wife couple. I met them in one of our inside events in the past. They jumped in right away and posted a response saying that we purchased the one-on-one coaching, and it has been a multiplier to our knowledge and launch of offers, blog, and our website. It is worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. There's no way we would be where we are now without it. We work full-time jobs as well, and that's exactly why we bought the coaching. We just don't have the time to make mistakes. We want a direct feedback from people who have already made millions. There's wisdom to that. Okay. So if you're going to be in the coaching program, this is something, I spent some time, there's something called open office hours, like a Tech Genius bar. They have 7 sessions in a week where you can show up into a Zoom room and wait in line to deal with any kind of technical issue you might have, because you'll be meeting with your coach once a week if you're in the coaching program, you and a bunch of other students of similar technical caliber at a time that you choose best for you. Okay. So you'll be given assignments from your coach. It's not just make work, busy work, like a homework assignment. This is you actually saying, building your funnel, your digital assets for your business. And they'll say what to do, how to do. They'll even show you on a screen how to do all of this stuff, in a Zoom session. And then sometimes may even turn over the screen, take over your screen and make any adjustments that need to be made to show you how to do it, but they'll give you enough to keep yourself busy till the next coaching session. And if you get stuck, you can show up at any of these times, and a tech genius will be there on standby to help you. So in the coaching program, you get 8 live coaching opportunities per week, 1 hour of live coaching and 7 live tech sessions. Okay. But I don't want you to kind of think about this right now. When you watch the video that Val will send you after this, there's a very good way that Jeff explains how our coaching program is structured. And also every Wednesday evening, all those people who are curious about coaching, there is a session that happens from 8 p.m. Eastern time to 9 p.m. Eastern time. That's going to happen. So you have to register for that and attend that session, where a coach is there on standby who does a presentation as to how the coaching program is structured. You get to pick the day and time of the week that works best for you to be coached. And if you're on the coaching program, they'll find a coach to meet you with you at that time. They may ask you to adjust a little bit, maybe an hour earlier, an hour later, depending on what kind of capacity there is available at that time slot. And, that session goes into a lot of detail as to how it is all structured. So I'm going to expect you to register for it. If you cannot make it live next Wednesday, you can ask for a recording of last week's session. You can watch that offline then. Okay. All right. So we're about to wrap up. There's going to be one more session, a group session that we'll be doing. I'll be doing that on Monday. Okay. This is section 4. This is where we wrap up all the group sessions. But after that, we're going to start connecting for your one-on-one trajectory planning sessions. So what you have to do is today, watch the coaching orientation. And then after that, Val will unlock you to section 4. And section 4 is only one lesson. Okay. Just do the first 2 weeks only, because depending on which path you choose, coaching path or non-coaching path, if you're in the coaching path, the coach will assign you every 2-week tasks to do that are congruent to your business and your business model. Okay. But in this video, like I said, Jeff demonstrates how to come up with the implementation plan for the whole year. But that's not like, it's like hindsight 2020. It's very simple for him to say that, but there are a lot of nuances to this. So my suggestion is just focus on the first 2 weeks only. Okay. Please email me your implementation plan before your trajectory planning session so we can talk through it if you need to. Okay. Remember one thing, this implementation plan is not a cookie cutter approach, whatever you see what Jeff do. It is, you have to come up with the plan that's unique to you. Okay. And it depends on the amount of capital that you're starting out with. Okay, what your awesome life numbers and what is your time horizon? Do you want to get there in a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now? Hey, you'll get to it when you get to it. It's up to you, right? So if you want to get there soon, because if you made a hard deadline for yourself to say, next year when my appraisal happens, I don't want to be talking to my boss to get a promotion. Instead, I want to be firing my boss. Then yeah, that's the time, you want to be establishing that as your deadline and work backwards from that. All right. And also how you intend to launch your business. Solo, it's a valid path, but it's going to take a lot longer, a lot more trial and error. Coaching is where you get experts to guide you through this thing. And our coaches are highly paid experts. Okay. So that is why these coaching fees are there. Okay. Mastermind is where you start attending sessions, seminars conducted by Entra. These are like mastermind sessions. Insight, impact, influence. Again, there's a lot of video that you'll be watching as to how those events can also help you catapult you in your business. All right. All right. Who wants to attend the coaching session live on Wednesday versus who wants to watch the recording? Okay, let me ask this. Who wants to do the recording? Raise your hands. Val, make note of this. So Crystal, Jessica, and Jason and Josh want the recording. The rest of you, in the next email, it's very crucial. And Paul, you also want the recording? Okay, if you watch, those of you going to watch the recording, no need to register live because it's the same material talked about. Okay. But if you watch the recording, then no need to attend it. So the rest of you are going to attend it live, right? So in the next email, Val will give you, read that email carefully. There's a booking link. You have to register for it. It's a Zoom session. It happens at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. Okay, do that. And those of you who are watching the recording, please let us know if you want to watch the recording or, you're going to attend it live. Either way, that's fine with us. Okay. And also, guys, I'm going to be traveling starting next week. I'm going to DC, and after that, I'm going to be traveling to India and Europe. Unfortunately, this year I I'm not taking a sabbatical like I typically do for 4 weeks where I'm told nobody can get in touch with me, because this year I have some things to take care of. So my time will be very limited. But given that I'm in a different time zone, we'll figure out a way to find a mutually convenient time to connect for your trajectory planning sessions. Okay. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but I'll be there for you guys, no problem. Okay. I should have stopped my taking on students about a month ago. Otherwise, now, it's I forgot about that completely. So that's why I want to finish off the boot camp in the most effective way with you guys. All right. So one more thing, and then we'll call it a wrap. Yeah. So please register today for Section 4 review. I'll be doing that on Monday. Val, what time am I doing it on Monday? 9:30? Yeah, so it'll be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. And again, if you cannot make that live, and this, I want to give you a heads up. This session is 3 hours long. It starts at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, usually wraps up by 12:30, okay, Eastern time. So if you're in Pacific time zone or whatever, understand that you may have to wake up early. Nobody likes to wake up early on a Monday. But again, if you cannot make it live and it's a long time commitment, I have no issues if you say, send me a recording. But ask for the recording only after you've completed lesson 4, section 4, okay? Just say, hey, I cannot attend it. Please send me a recording, and Val will send you a previous recording, okay? All right, so you got about 5 or 6 hours worth of work before the next session. So use this weekend wisely. Finish off everything that Val is going to send you in an email. There's this one video where Jeff talks about the coaching and the leadership events program. Go through that video with a fine-tooth comb. There's a lot of good information there, all right? And then after that, move on to section 4, okay? That's it. All right, I'm done. Am I on time? 11:32, not bad. All right, guys, any questions from anyone? Go ahead, Matt.
I want to make sure I have this clear. So we should not be taking any of those classes, affiliate, any of those training for affiliate marketing or anything like that still just yet. We're going to go through the stuff that's sent, but we should not be starting any of those particular trainings just yet.
If you have the time, I mentioned that in one of my recordings before. If you have the time, if you're sitting and twiddling your thumbs, you can do that. It's just that the first few days, I didn't want you to focus on the courses. But there's no, if you do not have the time, don't try to do that yet. Let's finish up the boot camp, and there's a time and place to do that. But if you are sitting over the weekend to say, okay, I'm done with everything Al and Val have asked me to do, you can start those courses, no problem. But you'll probably go through this course at least once as a dry run through it, and then you'll come back to it again and do it properly. But the problem here is that, guys, if you try to take action on those courses and try to set up your Facebook fan page or your ad account, and you don't do it correctly, you run the risk Facebook will put you in their jailhouse. They'll cancel your account. It happened to me. Okay, I don't want that to happen to you guys. So just scan through it. I think I mentioned this before. Assume you're about to start a brand new semester. You got all the textbooks. You're eager. You're an eager beaver. You just want to open the book and look at the pictures. That's exactly what I want you to do. Okay, so just do the first module or 2 if you want to do it. But if you're hard pressed for time, the boot camp takes priority. Finish the boot camp off first. Okay, good question though. I'm glad you asked that. Phil, did you have a question?
Entree soft. Would it be a good idea to pause that? It's I don't know when we're going to start using it, but
okay. So you know what, Entrasoft, that's a good question you asked. Entrasoft is actually a third-party company. I mean, when I say third-party company, it's under Entra's umbrella. But when Jeff set it up, he did a very smart move of creating Entrasoft as a separate entity that has its own accounting department, own support department, own tech department. Okay. They typically, when you bought the digital course, you probably checked off a box to get the $1.95 trial, right?
Right, yes.
Typically software companies, and Jeff, the reason he set it up that way is that he can spin it off if he wants to and sell it to do a capital raise without impacting the rest of Entra. But he's decided to keep Entrasoft because it's a very good software company, So typically when you sign up for software trials, most companies, 99% of the companies, give you only a 2-week trial. And that's what Entrasoft also used to do way back. But the problem is that, we used to get a lot of students complaining like, wait a second, man, I've not had a chance to use it. Al, you've been driving me like a slave trying to do this boot camp. I've not had a chance to look at that. And now the trial is also expired. So we went back to Jeff and kind of mentioned to him that, hey, this is what the situation is. So Entrasoft, the company head, came back and said, okay, we'll do a 4-week trial instead. Okay. But the problem is that even 4 weeks was very aggressive for some people. Some people have 1 or 2 jobs and it takes longer for them to complete the boot camp. So we went back again to the well to say, hey, can we extend this further? But to 6 weeks, they finally said, you know what, we'll just do an 8-week trial. Okay, so you still have enough trial left. So definitely, if you have the time, go and start playing with Entrosoft now. Okay, at least there's a very good tutorial on how to start using it, but not at the expense of completing your boot camp, please, and all that I'm asking you to do. So even after you finish the boot camp, you have enough trial period left, provided you haven't been one of those students who's, I think you started about 2 weeks ago with us, right? So you still got 6 more weeks of Entrosoft.
Right.
Worry about it. Okay. And
Okay.
you can make
Thank
the
you.
determination whether you want to use that or not. But great question. Great question. Any other questions for me?
Yeah, on top of that, my enrollment advisor also mentioned that the Entrosoft, you don't, you get the free trial, but the best use, you don't really start using it until like midway through your specialty course anyway. So there's no priority for you to jump on it immediately to start your trial. So whenever you sign up for it, say halfway through your course, then you can sign up for it just to kind of extend your time.
No, you cannot extend the time, guys.
Well, I mean, not extend the time, but get the most use out of it.
Okay, get the most out of it. Yeah. But you know what? It doesn't hurt you to, at least, because think about it this way. When you go to, say, take a chemistry course in school, yes, you get a textbook, but it's also good to implement why do the colors change when you mix these two chemicals? Why does smoke come out? By going to a lab and actually doing all of that stuff, right? So the tools, the Entrosoft is that tool. So there's a very good tutorial. You'll realize very quickly when you go through that tutorial how easy it is to set up a landing page or a website. Okay. I know, Josh, you're technical. You probably know how to do all of that stuff, but there are a lot of people who do not know. Okay. So that tool is a very simple drag and drop tool that allows you to set up websites and set up funnels, attach your email autoresponder. And the beauty about Entrosoft is everything is under one umbrella. Okay, you don't have to buy separate tools here and there. This is everything that you need to be a digital marketer. That's the one tool that you need that has everything: email autoresponder, funnel builder, landing page builder, reputation management, link management, link tracking, calendaring system, texting system, all under one tool. That way you don't have to have APIs or have one tool talk to another tool, and when upgrades happen, they break and the connection breaks, and then you got to finagle with that and all that stuff. So if you have the time, maybe in a day you can just do the tutorial and just play with it, and then it'll also give you an idea to say, okay, can I handle this tool by myself? Okay, so feel free to do that. I don't have an issue. Okay, but either way, your trial expires it doesn't expire, you automatically start getting billed $199. If you're not ready to use it, at that point you can send an email to support@entrosoft.com to say, I'm not ready to use it, can you put a pause? They can put a pause on your billing. Instead of $199 you being billed, you'll be billed only $10 to keep it active, because once you cancel the subscription and you try to re-sign up again for Entrosoft, it won't be at the $199 every 4 weeks. It'll be at $299 every 4 weeks. So that was a one-time offer that you got. I'd rather you pay the $10. If I were you, I'd rather you, if you're not ready to use Entrosoft, pay the $10 every month, or you can cancel it and sign up again, but you'll be signing up for $299 a month. That was a one-time offer that you got. Okay. But I think from a timing perspective, it should be fine. Okay. But either way, there's a tutorial in Entrosoft that you can play with to understand how it is, and gives you a sense of comfort. Can I handle the technology? Do it, and if you have difficulty, then maybe at our next meeting when we talk, I can kind of assess, maybe, you need some technical guidance and assistance, and I can point you in the right direction as to where to get that. Okay.
Thank you.
Got one more question too, Al.
Sure, Matt.
All right. So the Monday meeting is a session for review, and then the Wednesday meeting is what again? What is the Wednesday one?
Coaching orientation. People who are curious about coaching and are thinking about, like, okay, maybe I want to understand what coaching is and how it is structured. Some people tend to think by getting into the coaching program, it's going to make it easier. No, it's going to be tougher because the coach is not going to drag you. They'll pull you and push you to your destination. And it's not like a coach is going to build it all for you. We don't believe in giving you the fish. We believe in teaching you how to fish, becoming self-sustaining and self-sufficient. Okay. So that meeting is where The coach talks about how the coaching program is structured, how they work with you to get you outcomes in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. Almost it's like a discussion of the syllabus and the curriculum, just like when you start in a university, right? A professor talks about what the expectations are for the whole semester. They give you a syllabus and a curriculum that, there'll be a midterm and the 4th week. By that time, you should have done these 4 lessons, that kind of stuff, So that's what they do in the coaching orientation, to talk about how the coaching program is structured, so that before you decide to make an investment in the coaching, you have a pretty good idea as to, is that beneficial for you or not. So that's why I want you to attend that, whether you want to do it or don't want to do it. At least it's available to you at a later point if you want to do it at a later point. Okay, it's just that if you do it at a later point, you would have lost a lot of time. You might have ended up in a place where you don't want to be. So, in my next session, I talk about this concept: do it once and do it right. Yes, it's an investment, but it's not mandatory for you to do it. Okay, it just accelerates your journey. That's all. Any other questions, guys?
No, sir. Thank you.
Nope. Thank you.
Did you guys find value in today's session?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just take care, guys. Have a good one.
Definitely.
Bye-bye.